This video has kindly been sponsored by OneFootball. With a rating of 4.8 out of 5 from over 70,000 reviews on the App Store, OneFootball really is the biggest and best app for football news, scores and stats from hundreds of leagues worldwide. In terms of FPL, you can also follow each team in the Premier League and get live updates from all the goals and assists every game week. Download it for free using the link in the description box below. Warning, this video contains team selection and captain choices which some viewers may find offensive. Hey guys, and welcome back to FPL TV. Before looking towards Game Week 25, let's look back to see how the lads performed in the previous game week. I ended up making one free transfer for Game Week 24, and that was to swap Kevin De Bruyne for Tottenham's Heung-min Son. As mentioned previously, this was of course a big risk, because arguably KDB is the best FPL asset this season. However, with me in need of some big differentials now, and with Man City having a few tricky fixtures along with a blank game week coming up in 28, it felt like a reasonable time to make the switch, and therefore it was a calculated risk. In game week 24, they ended up matching each other with 7 points apiece, but hopefully Son can do me a job over the next few. In defence, Aston Villa's Matt Targett returned a welcome 6 points after picking up an assist against Watford. The reason I brought in Targett a while back was due to this attacking potential, and in that game against Watford it was certainly on display, because Matt Targett produced the most shots on target of any defender that week, a very fitting surname. He also again showed his goal threat by scoring a very important goal against Leicester in the League Cup semi-final the other day. But by progressing to the final now, it does confirm that Villa will have a blank game week in 28. So knowing this, plus the fact that Villa do have some difficult games on the way, still makes me wonder whether it's worth holding on to him any longer. As we all know now, last week saw Liverpool have a double game week, and for that reason I did everything I could to bring in Sadio Mane into midfield. The Senegalese forward very unfortunately got injured within 33 minutes of the first game last week, and it was a very cruel blow to any FPL manager that captained or triple captained him. Purely rotten luck, so try not to get yourself too down about that one. With only 37 points from these 10 players, fortunately my game week was saved by the Egyptian king Mo Salah, picking up 16 points for game week 24, and therefore 48 points in total with my triple captain played on him. This season, not much has gone right for me, but using my triple captain chip on a 16-point player definitely feels like a success, and it meant that Mo Salah outscored my entire team single-handedly. It took my game week 24 score to a very pleasing 85 points, my best game week of the season, and it gave me a nice rank boost of around 700,000 places up to 1.5 million. Of course, I'm still way off where I'd like to be, but it certainly makes things a bit more respectable, and hopefully it can bring a good bit of momentum now heading into the final third of this season. I do feel though that Salah's 48 points did paper over the cracks of my squad last week, and there's still quite a bit about it that I'm unhappy with. I've got unreliable and unpredictable budget defenders like Rico and Kelly, along with Schmeichel in goal who only has one clean sheet in his last 8 games. Not good enough for a relatively expensive goalkeeper. Game week 24 also saw injuries to Sadio Mane, along with Tammy Abraham who's now a doubt and does have some difficult games on the way. For this reason, and with me keen to try and build on a good game week score, I've chosen to activate my wildcard for game week 25. With a rank of 1.5 million, the focus now is to try and jump on some differentials with good fixtures and essentially go for broke to try and save my season. It's a wildcard team that I'll likely be tinkering with now until Saturday's game week deadline, especially with the Premier League's transfer window still open. But here's how the 15-man draft is currently looking, along with a few other players that I'm considering to buy. It's worth noting as well that this current wildcard does have a potential bench boost in game week 26 or 27 in mind. The current draft sees me leave behind some of the most highly owned players in FPL, including De Bruyne, Jamie Vardy and even Lord Lundstram, as I look to go against the grain and climb the rankings. I've instead gone for Lundstram's teammate Ender Stevens, who's only owned by 2% of managers, a big differential. In the last 6 game weeks, Ender Stevens has created 8 chances. That's 5 more than the popular George Baldock and 7 more than John Lundstram, so hopefully he's due some attacking returns soon to go along with his high clean sheet potential. The Blades have an excellent run of games over the next few weeks, so I'm keen to triple up on their players with Fleck and Henderson also in my squad. The only drawback to owning Sheffield United players now is that they're now confirmed to have a blank in Game Week 28, as are Aston Villa, Arsenal and Man City. This means in my current draft, 5 of my players won't have a fixture in Game Week 28. However, I'm not too concerned about this for now, because when the time comes I can still bench 4 of them anyway, and I'll still have 3 free transfers to use by then. Due to Sadio Mane's injury, I've also chosen to revert back to the double Liverpool defence, who I plan to stick with now for the majority of this season. I've no doubt that Sadio Mane will still prove to be an excellent asset once returning from injury, but the one positive of just owning Salah now is at least I won't have the headache of which one to captain each game week, which can often be detrimental. In defence, I've included Jamal Lascelles of Newcastle as a very appealing budget option. The club captain is now priced at an extremely budget-friendly 4.2 million and plays for a defensively minded team with a nice run of games on the way. He also faces Burnley at home in Game Week 28, so some nice cover there when my other options have that blank game week. The current wildcard squad also includes Arsenal's Aubameyang, who has an excellent run of fixtures. Because of his red card and 3-game ban recently, it's seen his ownership drop to just 14%. Therefore, getting him in now does seem like a unique chance for me to have a potentially explosive differential in my side. Another player that I like for the next 2 game weeks is Troy Deeney. He's another big differential for me with just 2% ownership, and in the last 6 game weeks he's currently the second highest scorer with 5 goals. Only Aguero has more in that time, and clearly he's enjoying life under Nigel Pearson so far. The plan is to take a 2-game week punt on him and then potentially switch him to Raul Jimenez in Game Week 27 when Wolves face Norwich at home. As for players also in consideration for the wildcard, of course Raul Jimenez is someone I could bring in straight away. It would however require downgrades elsewhere. The Mexican has heavily punished me in the last 2 game weeks, racking up a painful 21 points in the 2 games since I sold him. And to be fair, he has been such a reliable source of points all season. Another player I'd like to own for the next few weeks is Sergio Aguero, especially for his Game Week 26 fixture in particular at home to West Ham, a match I'd love to captain him for. The problem is he's 1.3 million more expensive than Aubameyang, and if I do want Aguero, it means I'd have to significantly weaken my bench, which would then make my bench boost strategy pretty pointless. With Danny Ings away to Liverpool in Game Week 25, I'd be lying if I said I hadn't considered a cheeky 1-week punt on Bournemouth's Callum Wilson. Yes, you heard me correctly. After finally getting on the score sheet in the previous game week, Wilson now faces Aston Villa at home in Game Week 25, a team that are really struggling defensively. So, I am tempted to bring in my arch nemesis just for 1 week, before then switching him to Danny Ings for Game Week 26, which is when Southampton's fixtures look very appealing. So, with this hypothetical wildcard squad, here's how the team could line up for Game Week 25. For the captaincy in 25, there's probably no need to overthink this one. With Sadio Mane being out injured, Mo Salah will be relied upon even more so for goals in this one, and heads into it in very good form. My only other consideration this week would be Arsenal's Aubameyang, providing he does make my final wildcard squad. Notably, the Gabonese frontman has an absolutely superb record against Burnley, with 7 goals in 4 games against them, statistically his favourite team to play. Therefore, as another big differential for me, captaining him is certainly not out of the question. So there you have my potential wildcard team for Game Week 25, but there's still plenty to ponder. So if you'd like to know my final squad, you can do so over on the FPL TV Twitter page shortly before Saturday's Game Week deadline. Good luck to you all for Game Week 25, FPL responsibly, and I'll catch you all very soon. Last but not least, a huge congratulations goes to Cameron Taylor for winning the coveted FPL TV Cup in the month of January. Cameron picked up an excellent 265 points over the last 4 game weeks, and after what looks to be a difficult season for him, has now more than halved his rank from 3.2 to 1.5 million in just 4 weeks. Well played, my friend, and hopefully you can kick on now and continue this fine run for the rest of the season. You've won yourself a range of FPL related prizes, which are now on their way to you. A big thank you as well to all my current Patreon supporters for helping me run the FPL TV channel, and good luck to all of you in the February Cup, which starts in Game Week 25. See you all next week.